Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Atini Chochakar Hana Munchakada Chinma Tayospura Hare Krishna. So today we will discuss importance of service attitude in chanting. Hare Krishna. Seva Bhavana in chanting Hare Krishna. Generally, there are a lot of seminars on chanting Hare Krishna. Holy name seminars are very famous. And they make the speakers also very famous. So, we will also do. We will base this discussion on Rupa Goswami's we all know he describes devotional service in the beginning, general way, general definition. First, Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Nirupanam, like that. General way he describes. Then he divides different stages of devotional service. Sadhana, Bhava, Prema, then eligibility, then how Bhakti surpasses liberation. Although that eligibility is there, and there should not be mixture of desire for sense enjoyment and liberation both from material existence. Should not be there. Although all these qualifications are there, but still everyone can engage in, irrespective of caste, creed, community. Everyone is eligible to devotional service. Then he speaks about how to execute. In how to execute, he speaks. He writes 64 angas of bhakti. Towards the end, he writes about these 5 potent forms of devotional service. That means towards the end of how to execute devotional service. How to execute devotional service means we have to follow these 64 angas. Last 5 are these 5 potent forms. After describing them as part of 64 angas, again he defines the speciality of those 5, explaining how potent forms. So while explaining the 64 angas, he general way he described them also as part of other description of other angas, as part of description of other angas. So 63rd, that means second last one is Atha Shri Nama Sankirtanam. Actually, he had already discussed Kirtan. In that he says there are 2, Sankirtan and Japa. Japa means, Sankirtan means we come together, Samyat Kirtanam. Samyat Yat Kirtayate, that is Sankirtanam. We come together with musical instruments. Then we do Sankirtan. Then Japa means he defines it as soft chanting. Although in ISKCON temples they chant loudly. Chant Japa loudly. and making so many things they do, so many. Sometimes that Shika would be beating the 2 years. Both. Actually, yesterday I came across one video of devotees chanting what all they were doing, some Western devotees. Purnachandra Goswami, once he described, he was somewhere in China, Russia. So they were traveling in the train with the devotees, and there are, of course, public non-devotees also were there. And these devotees were chanting like this, coming front, going down. And public, they were shocked to see this strange expressions, etc. Anyway, best is to make japa simple, very simple. Sukhasana, sit peacefully. Some people don't know how to sit straight, although. Madhusudan. Okay, so Japa, he had already discussed, and again he says Atashri Nama Sankirtana. Of course, I am not going to discuss the entire thing here. In this Nama Sankirtana, he quotes many verses. One is Etan Nirvidyamananam Ichchatamakuto Bayam Yoginam Tapanarnitam Hare Namanu Kirtanam. You all know this from where it is? Second canto, first chapter, 11th verse. That one he quotes. Then he says, Adipurane cha gitva cha mama namani vicharen mama sannidau iti bhravi me te satyam kriti krito ham tasya acharjuna. In Adipurana, to Arjuna he speaks, by singing my names a person will attain a position close to me. I make this promise. That person, O Arjuna, purchases me. Kritoham, Krita. Krita means purchasing. Then Padmacha, Yena Janma Sahasrani Vasudeva Nishevitaha Tanmuke Harinamani Sada Tishtanti Bharata. The names of the Lord remain constantly in the mouth of that person who serves Vasudeva for 1,000 births. Actually, here it comes. Nishevita word. The names of Lord remain constantly in the mouth of that person who serves Vasudeva for 1,000 births. Yena Janma Sahasrani Vasudeva Nishevita. One who serves Vasudeva for 1,000 births. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Kirtaniya Sada Harihi, right or not? Always chant holy names. Now, who can always chant? Here is one answer from Padma Purana. One who serves Krishna for 1,000. Now, you have to serve Krishna 1,000. Here, one more question arises that one by serving Krishna in one lifetime will not get liberated, will remain in this world only. So, to answer that question, Jiva Goswami in his commentary writes, in order to increase person's eagerness for devotion, the Lord by his own will make that person take repeated birth. Bas. After hearing this. Prabhupada, he also comments on this. No, comment on this anyway. In order to increase that person's eagerness for devotion, येन जन्म सहस्राणि वासुदेव निषेविता तन्मुखे हरिनामी सदा तिष्ठन्ति भारत. So this is one verse. How if we want to constantly chant, we have to serve Krishna. So basically, Seva Bhavana helps in developing taste for chanting Hare Krishna. So we have to develop that Seva Bhavana. So after that, he speaks about basically Nama Chintamani, Nama Tattva. Nama Chintamani verse describes Nama Tattva. In Madhva Sampradaya, they claim themselves generally people call them as Dvaitavadis, but actually they call themselves as Tattvavadis. So Tattvavada means if you say Dvaitavada, it's yet another, okay, Dvaita Siddhanta is there, but there are many Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta, Advaita, one among them. But their claim is Tattvavada means it is a real analysis of the truth, Tattva. So we can see those who read Chaitanya Charitamrita especially first volume. First volume means Prabhupada's presentation of Chaitanya Charitamrita, first 7 chapters. Different tattvas he describes, Pancha Tattva, Guru Tattva, then what else? Nityananda Tattva, Advaita Tattva, in between Radha Tattva also comes. Who is Radha? So all these things, how we are Tattvavadis. Obviously, we are supposed to be Tattvavadis because we are descending from Madhvacharya. So Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Vinnatvam Nama Naminaho. Nama Nami, there is no difference. Nama itself is non-different from Krishna. How it is Chintamani. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is not Jada. Chaitanya and Jada. Jada means opposite of Chaitanya. So Jada means what we say. Lifeless, consciousnessless, inert. Inert is not exactly, but it can be used. Inert, material. So Chaitanya means consciousness, conscious, that is spiritual. Chaitanya Rasa, not Jada Rasa. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. In Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahman is described as Raso Vaisaha. And Rupa Goswami, based on that verse, this verse, Chaitanya Rasa, he defined first verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is Akila Rasamrita Murthy. Krishna is Akila's Mangalacharana verse. He is giving what hint that what is going to be discussed in this verse, in this chapter, in this. So Krishna, who is the embodiment of all the rasas. So Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Vinnatvam Nama Naminaha Vinnatvan Nama Naminaha. So completely pure, complete, pure and Nitya Mukto, eternally liberated. This is Nama. Nama Tattva. In the next verse, he describes the importance, more elaborately, importance of service in attitude in chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So he quotes that verse again from Padma Purana. Yata tatraiva. So last three verses, including the one which we are going to read, they are all from Padma Purana. Atha Shri Krishna na, we can recite this maybe. Atha Shri Krishna namadi na bhavet grayam indriyae sevan mukhe hi jivvado swayameva spuratyada. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवे ग्राह्यमिन्द्रियै सेवन्मुखे हि जिह्वादो स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदा. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवे ग्राह्यमिन्द्रियै सेवन्मुखे हि जिह्वादो स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदा. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेत् ग्राह्यमिन्द्रियै सेवन्मुखे हि जिह्वादो स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदा. Krishna and his names cannot be grasped by the material senses. Actually, here maybe I'll discuss it more. But because Namadi, Adi is word is used. Namadi means Krishna. Namadi means Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, entourage, everything. But when a person develops tendency to accept the Lord's name and form, Krishna then spontaneously appears on the tongue. And in order to accept the Lord's name form, actually it speaks about Sevan Mukha, na? By one becomes Sevan Mukha, then what happens? Swayameva Spuratada. Krishna then spontaneously appears on the tongue in Bhanu Maharaj translation. Okay, we'll discuss this verse. Translation doesn't encompasses everything, every aspect of the verse. One point which I wanted to passing statement on the previous Nama Chintamani. In Achintya Beda Beda, what is Abheda means? Abheda means generally what we say, think qualitatively one with Krishna, like that, right? Generally, we immediately go to Krishna's Jiva and relation between Jiva and Krishna. Qualitatively, they are one. It's fine. It's not wrong to say like that. That is between Jiva and Krishna. But generally, Abheda, if you want to succinctly describe that, Abheda in Achintya Veda Veda means, in Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, there is no difference between dharmi dharma dharma Veda doesn't exist in Param Brahma. That is Abheda means. Dharmi dharma. Now Krishna, Parabrahma is dharmi. Possessor of the attributes or qualities, whatever. And dharma means qualities or attributes. Now, if you say Krishna and his name is an attribute. And dharmi is who? Krishna. So, name and Krishna are abhinna. That means dharmi, dharma, abheda it is. So, that is the meaning of abheda in Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So, this is one example how Krishna, this verse, because it speaks about indifference or non-difference between Krishna and his names. Dharmi, Dharma, Abheda, it speaks about. So, this is what is called as, in Madhvacharya also he spoke about this, that is, he gives the word Vishesha in that. So Vishesha, Visheshana, Abheda. So he calls it as Vishesha. That's why Achintya Veda Veda and whatever Madhvacharya's teachings are. So there is no difference. So this is one example, Nama Chintamani, different, Abheda, different. Anyway, I just wanted to, because we are reading it, make a passing, it has nothing to do with our present. That can be an entire different lecture on Achintya Veda, Veda Tattva. What is Achintya, what is Abheda, and what is Veda. So now, in this Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahayam indriyai. Oh, actually, we are now talking about Achintya Veda Veda. This verse describes what is Achintya in Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. This verse, particularly, Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahayam indriyai sevan mukhe jivano swayameva spuratara. Anyone remembers Prabhupada often quoted one verse about what is Achintya means? Tarko Pratishto? No, not that one. Achintya khalu ye bhava natam starke na yojayat prakritibhya param yascha tad achintyasya lakshanam. That verse, from where it is? It says, it is referenced in Prabhupada books as from Mahabharata Udyog Parva. That verse describes what is Achintya. Achintyasya lakshanam. Symptoms of Achintya. Achintya means Achintya khalu ye bhava natham starke na yojat. That which cannot be grasped by tarka alone. And it is beyond material sense perception. Prakritibhya param yascha tad achintyasya lakshana. This is what is Achintya. But in what is Achintya in Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, that is described in this verse. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi. Parabrahma Krishna's name, form, qualities, Krishna, pastimes, activities, whatever. Pastimes and endurance cannot be grasped by material sense perception or material senses. Grahyam indriyai, na bhavet grahyam indriyai. So, Rupa Goswami is quoting this verse here, basically in context with name, but it not only speaks about Krishna's name, but it speaks about Namadi, means it speaks about his form, qualities. Brahma Krishna cannot be understood. Anyway, that is again another topic. What is Achintya in Achintya Veda Veda Tattva? Like in the previous verse, we saw what is Abheda in Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. That gives one example of that. Nama Chintamani. So this verse speaks about. We can discuss this verse in context with. In context with Achintya Veda Veda Tattva some other time. So basically, Achintya Veda Veda Tattva is talking that it is not just Krishna can be understood from Shastra Yonitvat. Vedanta says Shastra Yonitvat. Krishna. Now, first it is said that you have to do Krishna Jidnyasa, Atato Brahma Jidnyasa. Vedanta says, first verse is Brahma Jidnyasa, inquire about Brahma. We should not confuse between Parabrahma and ordinary Brahma here. Mayavadis, they just mix up everything and mess it up. Because Aham Brahmasmi verse. Aham Brahmasmi, one of the Mahavakyas according to Shankaracharya. So immediately they quote Aham Brahmasmi. But actually we are not Brahma here it is described as creator, maintainer, and destroyer. Source of even creator, maintainer, and destroyer. Janma Adyasyataha, the second verse. Brahma is described. We are not that one. Therefore, sometimes Parabrahma is also described as Brahma in the Shastra. So Brahma word has many meanings. Mahatattva is also Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti. In that verse, Brahmani means that is Mahatattva. So many. Then in the verse that what is that? Brahmakshara Samadva. That is another thing. Verse. Their Shabda Brahma, that is Vedas are described as Brahma there. Then what? Brahmagno Huta. What is that? Third, 4.24. After describing, before describing these different kinds of sacrifices, Brahmagno. Brahmenaiva tena gantavyam. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir. Brahmagno Brahmano Hutam. Their different components of sacrifices are described as Brahma. So Brahma word has different meanings. In general, the Brahma literal mean, if you want to take the greatest, like that it is. Anyway, so Brahma there is described. Then how to understand this Parabrahma or Brahma? Then the source of the knowledge of Brahma is Shastra, or Shabda Pramana, Vedic literatures. So obviously knowledge about Brahman comes from Vedic literatures. Basic, but it doesn't stop there actually. So this is where Achintya Beda is a speciality. Here this verse speaks that because even if you take knowledge from the Vedas, then that knowledge again it will be processed by this imperfect mind, senses, intelligence. Then it won't be a complete knowledge, perfect knowledge, right or not? So, for instance, most of the Hare Krishna chanters in ISKCON, they don't know that Krishna is a covered boy. Raja Krishna, they may be hearing pastimes also, but it just doesn't process into their consciousness at all. Actually. Otherwise, they would have developed love for cows, right or not? So, it applies to us also. Although not necessary that cow protection has to be done in some ignorance, but our Krishna he's lover of cows. He's Vraja Gopa. Swayam Rupa is Vraja Gopa. And the Parabrahma. So like that we may hear from Shastras, but ultimately it will be processed by these imperfect mind, senses, intelligence, logic, etc. So, and obviously Shastra guides us, and it is a like driving force behind our devotional activities. But ultimately, to realize in a real sense Parabrahma, bhakti has to be there. Therefore, Parabrahma, even though basic knowledge about Parabrahma will come from Shastra, and whatever bhakti process we are going to follow, Sambandha, Abhidheya, Prayojana, will be described by Shastra Yonitvat. But still he remains Achintya because of our conditional state. Therefore, one has to engage in bhakti. This is the meaning of Achintya in Achintya Vedata. That is what this verse is speaking. Atha Shri Krishna Namadina Bhavedraya Mindriyai Sevan Mukhe Jidvado. When we engage in bhakti, beginning with the tongue, one day when Krishna becomes pleased, he will reveal himself to us. So He will reveal himself to us. That is the point. This one, even those who study Vedanta, Vaishnavas who study Vedanta, of course, those who, not Gaudiya Vaishnavas, if they really, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, if they understand the meaning of this Atha Shri Krishna Namadi and properly understand Achintya Beda Beda, that means what I want to say is that even among Vaishnavas, this is special contribution of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers to the Vedanta study, or for God realization, or for self realization. This is a special contribution. The stress on bhakti to ultimately realize absolute truth, to for Brahma Jidnyasa, or from Brahman realization. So, Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indriya sevan mukhe hi jivvado swayameva spuratada. So, Atha Shri Krishna Namadi. Atha means therefore. This is concluding verse of some section, description. Shri Krishna Nam na bhavet grayam indriya. Cannot be pursued by material senses. Krishna Namadi means name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Although Rupa Goswami has quoted this in context with Nama here, you may translate it accordingly, but the verse itself has a broader perspective. Sevan mukhe hi jivvado. Sevan mukha. When you become Sevan mukha. Sevan mukha. Now we have become Bahir mukha. There are verses no in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anadi Bahir mukha jiva bhogavancha kari. Yeah. That one is. There are two verses, right? In that connection. Sorry for not preparing. Krishna Bahirmukha haya bhoga vanchakari nikataste mayatari jhapati yadari. That is one verse. Krishna Bahirmukha. We become Krishna Bahirmukha. This Sevanmukha is opposite of Bahirmukha. Bahirmukha. Basically, we all have relationship with Krishna. We all have relationship with Krishna in the mode of service, as servants of Krishna, mode of love and service. And we forget that, and then we become Bahirmukha, Krishna Bahirmukha. So turn our face against Krishna. Turn away from Krishna. Krishna Bahirmukha. So when we turn our face away from Krishna, then Bhoga Vanchakari, then desire to enjoy independent of Krishna develops. Nikataste Maya Dhari Japadi, then Maya will capture us. Japati Yadari. Nikataste Maya Dhari Japati Yadari. Then Anadi Bahirmukha Krishna, what is that verse? Suffers in the sansara, that it says, no, like that. Anyway, the meaning is that since time immemorial, Jiva has become Bahirmukh to Krishna, turned away from Krishna. Therefore, it is suffering all kinds of miseries, like that. No. This verse is Anadi Bahirmukha. Surprising, you all don't remember. This is quoted. Yes. Before that it comes, right? Something like that. Want to take Bhagavad Gita, you take introduction. That is Krishna Kaile Veda Puran. What is that? Krishna, Krishna Swatagyan, what is it? Maya Mugdha Jive Nahi Swata Krishna Gyan. Krishna Veda Puran. No, no, no. There must be some. That verse, this verse may be before to that. But it's not quoted there in introduction. Somewhere else it is quoted together actually. I also remember reading it. Anyway, the essence is that Jiva living entity is suffering. Then, so this was a Maya Mugdha Jive Nahi Swata Krishna Jnana Jive Kripa Kaila Krishna Ved Puran. Sevan Mukhe hi Jibbado. So, Sevan Mukhe hi Jibbado Swayameva Spuratyada. Then Sevan Mukha, we become Sevan Mukha, turn our Seva. There is also, like in Rupa Goswami hinted that in Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he explains more, and Prabhupada also in different places. Regarding the, Sukruti, Bhakti Unmukta Sukriti. Bhakti Unmukta Sukriti. Then there is Bhogonmukha Sukriti is there. Bhogonmukha Sukriti. Then there is Mukti Unmukha Sukriti is there. Mukti Unmukha. So those who are too much attached to material sense gratification. Of course, Sukriti means pious activities, because many people, they may perform Vedic pious activities, they may follow Varnashram Dharma, but they may remain bhogis, they sense enjoyers. That is Bhogonmukha Sukriti. Then there is Bhakti Unmukha. So Rupa Goswami hinted this where, while explaining the eligibility for accepting devotional service. So if you are too much attached, you will become a karmi. And if you are too much detached, you may become a jnani or yogi, dry philosopher. So you should have attraction for service to Krishna with little detachment and not too much detachment also. So like that. Then to support that, he quoted from 11th canto Uddhava Gita. Jata Shraddha Se Sevan, that verse is there. In that it is discussed like that. Not too much attachment, not too much detachment also. Like that. Bhakti. Balanced process. There is a lot of talk about balancing. How to balance Krishna consciousness in material life. Which is just a bluff, complete bluff it is. Especially in modern society. because there is no balance there. It's only materialistic activity and little bit add Krishna. So just do some pious eating and sleeping. So anyways, Bhogonmukha. So we have to become Sevanmukha. Before this, one thing also, that first line we read, Atha Shri Krishna Namadina Bhave Grayam Indriyai. This also says, it gives a hint that how we cannot grasp the holy name means actual chanting cannot be done by conditioned souls. This meaning, purport of this, Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet. Actual chanting cannot be done by conditioned souls. Or anything, actual service, not only because chanting it is, because this Namadi means service cannot be done by Service to Krishna cannot be done by conditioned souls at all. So, in connection with chanting, how chanting cannot be done by conditioned souls? Rupa Goswami, again, Rupa Goswami. So much we are talking. Rupa Goswami. In a bad English, you can say he is our boss. Boss means in material society they have boss. So Rupa Goswami is our Acharya. We are Rupa Anugas. His teachings are really amusing. The more we study him about his teachings, it is very astonishing. He wrote that in Stavamala, Namashtaka, he wrote. In Namashtaka, that verse is there. Nikila Shruti Mauli Ratnamala. Nikila Shruti Mauli Ratnamala. Jyuti Nirajita Pada Pankajam. Aimukta Kule Rupasyamanam Paritastvam Harinama Samshayami. So he glorifies holy name that your lotus feet are tips of the toes of your lotus feet are worshipped by Nikila Shruti. All the Shrutis like that, with the radiance emanating from all the Shrutis. Of course, this is all kavya. Lot of things are there in that. Upama, Alankara, so many things are there. So it is a kavya, right? Stavamala is a kavya, collection of songs which he composed. There is Namashtaka, there is Chaitanya Ashtaka. Many Chaitanya Ashtakas are there in that. Chaitanya Ashtaka 1, Chaitanya Ashtaka 2, Chaitanya Ashtaka 3, like that. I think 3 are there. 3 Stavamala. Baldev Vidyabhushan wrote commentary on that called Stavamala Bhushana. His Bhagavad Gita commentary is called as Gita Bhushana. Similarly, on Stavamala, he wrote Stavamala Bhushana. So this is why I told his teachings are amazing. He goes on writing and other acharyas write commentary on his books. He himself, of course, it's all based on Shastra, and his Lagu Bhagavatamrita and all is somewhat like commentary on the selected portions of Bhagavatam, he took the essence of Bhagavatam and commented on that. But if you see, he doesn't make any verse by verse commentary on any Shastras. He went on writing his own, you can say, in one sense, not because it's all ultimately based on Bhagavatam and Vedic scriptures. So he wrote his own books and others wrote commentaries on his books. Others wrote. For example, there are 3 original Sanskrit commentaries on. Maybe more must be there. We have to search. At least 3 are well known on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then is Ujjvala Neelamani, as who wrote Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, both of them wrote. Baldev Vidyabhushan wrote commentary on Stavamala and on Lagu Bhagavatamrita. So like that, commentaries on his many of the books. So anyway, the point is that tips of the toes of your lotus feet. He is praying to, he is offering prayers to holy name, and he says that all the Shrutis, they worship your lotus feet. So he is praying to the holy name, and so your lotus feet means holy name as lotus feet. So he is taking him as non-different from Krishna, like that. Palm, rasa vigraha, like that. Holy name as palm. So Basically, Krishna, being non-different from Krishna, Krishna has form. Krishna has lotus feet, toes are there. Tips of the toes of his your lotus feet are worshipped by all the Shrutis. And also, Mukta Kulair Upashyamanam, Mukta Kula, worshipped by Mukta Kulas. Mukta Kulair Upashyamanam. Their extended translation is there. Mukta Kulas means what? Family. Kula means family. Family of liberated souls like Narada, Shukadev, Vyasa, etc., like that. Such people. So basically, holy name is worshipped by or chanted by liberated souls, conditions. Then we should stop chanting. Like in the previous verse quoted from Padma Purana, also it is said 1000 lifetimes we have to do service, and then what we have to do? Then one day we will become eligible for bus bhakti. We will chant one day when we become eligible or when we become liberated. No, it says, that's why second line is says, Sevan Mukhe Jivvado Swayameva Spurattada. One day holy name will appear in your tongue, real holy name. You begin with service with the tongue. Tongue means you chant the holy name also, but it can be many things. His name, form, qualities, pastimes. Taste prasadam, Prabhupada often would say, Sevan Mukhe Jivvado. Made it very simple. Prabhupada, his commentary on this verse, often commented on this. Taste prasadam, one day Krishna's name will appear on your tongue. Nice, no? Taste prasadam and you will get. That's why you should not underestimate prasadam and not become lazy to cook also. क्यों देख रहे हो इधर उधर सब लोग? We should not underestimate any service to Krishna. Of course, prasadam also has rules. It's not that. It is told, don't offend prasadam by overeating, like that it is said. Sevan mukhe jivvado, beginning with the tongue. That means here it is not that you have to serve, you should only serve with the tongue, with other senses also. Jivvado, so beginning with the tongue, but other senses also should be engaged in Krishna service. All the senses should be engaged in Krishna service. Just like Amrish Maharaj engaged all the senses. How many verses there? 3 or 4 verses? 3 verses, I think, which describe the devotional service of Amrish Maharaj. That is a separate topic only. Devotional service of Amrish Maharaj. Good topic. Devotional service of Amrish Maharaj. How it starts. Mana Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayor Vachansi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane Karo Harer Mandiramarjanadishu Shrutim Chakara Chuta Satkatodaya. Then Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drasho. Then Sangamam Tadbritya Gatra Sparshanga Sangamam. Then Granam Cha Tatpada Sajoja Saurabam Srimatulasya Rasanam Tadarpite. Then Pado Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpane Padabhivandane, Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane, then Kamam Chadase Natakama Kamyeha Yaduttama Shloka Janashayarati. More is there, I think. One more. 3 verses are over. Little more is there, I think. Huh? Because how he come in the end, it comes mind also, mind, how he controlled his mind like that. So 4 verses are there. So in that way, we have to engage all our senses in the service of Krishna. Then one day. So tongue also. Now the question we raised that, oh, whether we'll do service first and then we will chant Hare Krishna. Chanting. No. Tongue also has to be engaged. So therefore tongue has to be how it will do. 2 things. Prabhupada explained this, right? Often he explained that there are 2 functions of the tongue. One is chanting, reciting, speaking, whatever, and then tasting prasadam. So the tongue also has to be engaged. So therefore we have to chant also. Then chant means what? How much we will chant? Question comes. How much to chant? That's why there is regulated why the sadhana bhakti is described. Although Krishna can be served only by liberated souls, but still, until we become liberated, we will do Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Regulated. So there is 64 rounds. Then there is 16 rounds. Presently, we do chant 16 rounds. Prabhupada, he told that members of the Krishna consciousness movement chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles, and remaining time they should utilize in the preaching activities like that. He gave direction to the members of Krishna consciousness movement. Krishna. So Sevan Mukehi Jivvado Swayameva Spuratyada. So until Krishna himself reveals to us, we cannot demand, we cannot force when Krishna will reveal to us. Mercy cannot be forced. Mercy means the very meaning of mercy cannot be forced. Right? The very meaning of mercy word, if you see. That is not forced. It is given. So when he will give, it is up to him. With that humble attitude, we have to go on chanting, doing service. One day it will. So because contextually, because it is Nama Sankirtana is discussed here, Acharyas, all the commentaries, like I mentioned, there are three Sanskrit commentaries are there. They all told that we have to go on taking the holy name on the tongue. So in this context, you see, Sevan Mukhe means inclined to accept the Lord's name and form. Sevan Mukha, they described it like that. So in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam, Bharata, when he left his body, he continued to take the holy name. Narayanaya Haraye Nama Itudaharam Hasyan Ragatvam Apiya Samudajahara. So when he was in the body of Hasyan Mragatvam Api. So although he was in the body of a deer, Mraga, still he left his body smilingly by chanting this name, Narayanaya Harahe Namaha, like that. All respects to Narayana, Hari. He chanted this, Narayanaya Haraye Namaha. And then there is Gajendra's example is also given. So that is fifth canto 14.45, Bharata's example. And 8th canto chapter 3 verse number 1. Evam vyavasito buddhya समाधाय मनोरथी जजाप परमं जाप्यं प्राग्जन्मन् अनुशिक्षितम्. Thereafter the king of the elephants, Gajendra, fixed his mind in his heart with a perfect intelligence and chanted a mantra which he had learned in his previous birth as Indradumna and which he remembered by the grace of Krishna. So both examples, Bharata and Gajendra's examples are given here. Why it is given here? Because of previously practicing chanting, they could take holy name. When Bharata was leaving the body, he could take the holy name. So Sevan, the point here is, if you see that verse, we have to chant holy name with a service attitude. Nama is also Prabhu, Krishna himself. When we are chanting, we are serving the Nama. And we are, other time also we have to do service. Sometime we become so much Sevan Mukha that even while chanting also we think of other services. That is not actually Sevan Mukha. We should understand that chanting is holy name and we are serving the holy name. But just sometimes it's a mind's game, it is. Mind game. Mind doesn't want to serve holy name and it is concocting something. So this service, that service, this service, that service. That also should not happen. Okay, it's not bad to think about service. You are thinking about serving Krishna, right or not? You may be thinking about, okay, today I'll go to, we are building temple, I'll go to this person to collect money. Or, oh, today is this, I have to think about some recipe, right or not? Different things should be there. But it's not wrong to think about, service to Krishna. But better we focus on the task at hand. That is chanting. So we have to chant also with service attitude. Basically, this is, you see, how to execute devotional service is abhideya. Until we have sambandha jnana very nicely, thorough sambandha jnana, that we are eternal servants of Krishna and my existence is just meant for serving Krishna only. We should never become depressed when service comes. There may be some little, for a short time, there may be some, okay, I was supposed to plan to do this and I am being told to do this. Some short time, some disturbance, some processing. Of course, those who are very sattvic, that doesn't take much time for them to process actually. But sometimes we are in ignorance, so it may take some time to process. Okay, this has to be done, but still I am told to do this. Like that. Immediately it should be processed. So we should not become depressed because our whole existence is meant for serving Krishna. It is told about Srimati Radharani, it is told there in Radha Tattva, we were discussing about every particle of her existence, body is meant for serving Krishna. Like that. So in this way, when we serve or chant holy name in that mode, attitude, then Krishna will be pleased and he will reveal to us. That time he will realize that, okay, I am chanting now. Hare Krishna. Otherwise, we may go on chanting millions of years. बहुजन्म जदि करे श्रवण कीर्तन तबुतन पाई Krishna pade premadana. This verse you all remember? Where it comes, somewhere in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Must be in the 7th chapter, maybe there, that Prakashananda. Conversation with Prakashananda section. Maybe, or maybe in the beginning, but it comes in the beginning chapters. So for many lifetimes we may do Shravana Kirtana, then also we may not. We may not. So this all should be discussed, what we are discussing today. It's very important for our progress. Otherwise, we may just get people to chant Hare Krishna. Often it is because they are so much told to chant, 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 and all this philosophy is not discussed. Sometime when they are translating books, wherever chanting comes, immediately they translate it as japa, japa, japa. Because that is what they are told, nothing else they are told, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now we can go for another version of Jivado, Sevan Mokhe Jivado. Any questions, comments? No question. Hare Krishna.